What is going on, everybody? So look at what I decided to pick up this morning. Now, I was really curious about the Gear Sport because I've heard really good things about the Samsung interface, including the little bezel dial thingy. I was also really intrigued by the Spotify offline playlist supports. I decided to try one out, and I'm also really curious about how it's actually going to work with an iPhone, because obviously the Apple Watch is pretty much exclusive to the iPhone. And the Samsungs, I know they work best on the Samsung ecosystem, but let's just see how it works on iOS. All right, so without further ado, let's unbox this thing. Okay. Place this aside. All right, so Samsung, very cool. There's like dust on here. I'm not sure if this is returned already. Okay, so we got the watch, quick start guide. Looks like an extra band, charging cradle thingy. And we have a micro USB cable, wall adapter. So pulling the watch out. That's kind of interesting, but to each his own. Okay, so first impressions. Once again, photos do not do it justice, just like the Vivo Active 3. Vivo Active 3 was much better in person. This thing is definitely much better in person. The photos and video, it makes this sort of outer bezel look like this cheap plastic, and it's actually quite nice. It's a really nice, smooth finish on here. So let's take this out. So the watch band seems a little bit thicker than the Vivo Active 3 and definitely doesn't seem as pliable. So I'm curious whether this is going to be as comfortable. So like I said, it does seem a bit thicker here. And then on the back, this appears to be a nice metal. It's got this ugly little sticker on the back here. Let's place some of this stuff aside. So the blue color of the band, it is not as vibrant as the photos make it appear. However, it is a nice, more understated blue, because the blue in the photos honestly was pretty obnoxious. Okay, once again, I have no idea how to turn this thing on, so we are actually going to go to the quick start guide. Quick start guide, let's do this. Know your device, charge your device, pair. So that's the bezel, by the way. Back button, which is up top. That doesn't make quite a bit of sense. And then the home power button is going to be on the lower bottom. Okay, wireless charging. Okay, whatever. We'll check these out here in a second. Okay, so I already did download Samsung Gear S and Samsung Health because I've heard that you need to have those. Let's power this thing on. Ooh, there we go. Very nice. Welcome. Ooh boy, that's nice. All right, so English, next. All right, so just like the Apple Watch, man, the screen on this thing is gorgeous. I need the Gear Sport, so Samsung Gear app. I'm gonna launch that thing right now. Yes, allow, sure. Start this journey. I have the Gear Sport. Connect to Gear Sport. What does E8EF mean? EF. Confirm to connect via Bluetooth. Yes. Ooh, all right, let's pair up. So far, this is going a little bit better than the Apple Watch setup. It took the iPhone and Apple Watch, gosh, let's see here, 4 reboots and about 30 minutes of my life to get those to pair. But after that, honestly, it was perfect. All right, so terms and conditions, agree to all, sure. I read all of those, again, just like that. Samsung account, I don't have a Samsung account, so pardon me just 1 second while I create one. Access your calendar, sure, sure. So I think we are set up there with the Gear Sport or Gear app for Samsung. So I said to rotate the dial. Whoa, hey there. Okay, you're back to the watch face, sweet. Turn the other way. Ooh, here's where your notifications are. So there's the home key, shows all the apps. Almost there. Swipe down. This shows settings and status info. Cover your screen with your palm. Your screen will turn off. That's pretty cool. All right, that's it. All done, enjoy your gear, just like that. Well, that was really, really quick. All right, so let's poke around this thing. So I have no idea what that little circle is traveling around there. We'll have to see. All right, so there's the first widget, which is calories burned, steps, floors climbed. We will have to see how this compares to the Vivo Active 3 and the Apple Watch 3. Heart rate, exercise. I guess it's kind of cool. There's actually a widget for all the activities. We'll test those out here in a second. You need to add your current location for the weather. There is the music, which I'm really, really stoked about trying. Creating a reminder. You can add your widget at the end, and that's it. So let's rotate all the way back. Don't know what that is. I'm gonna guess compass, but it is not changing for me. So this dial ring, I need to get the actual name for this thing. But this dial is really nice to use. The biggest difference obviously is gonna be with the Vivo Active 3. You have the side swipe thing, which I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of. You have the digital crown of the I keep calling it iWatch. The Apple Watch, which is phenomenal, but this thing is slick. It's really nice, has a really nice positive click to it. Yeah, I thought I heard from some of the reviews that there was a vibration, but that's probably in settings, I bet. So how do you get to settings? It's not gonna be the back button, obviously. So it's gonna be this home button. There's gonna be all your recent apps that you use, Samsung Health, Galaxy apps, music player, settings, S-Voice. We'll have to see how S-Voice works too. Next page, so we do world clock, gallery. There's kind of a next page, previous page sort of thing going on here. And let's see, if I just rotate the dial, does it do that? Sweet, very cool. All right, cool. So that's very intuitive, where you don't have to actually press next page. You can just use the dial. I love to check out settings first. So there's watch faces, vibrations, device, display, connections, app settings, security, general management, battery management. I do like this because I've heard that the battery management is pretty darn good. So let's take a dive into there really fast. Oh, that's pretty cool. So default, it says that I have 1 day, 6 hours and 7 minutes left. Power saving mode, 3 days, watch only. So this is really, really cool, where they actually give you estimations on, actually not even estimations, but pretty detailed estimations on your battery life. We'll definitely test that out. Tons of options for the battery. Okay, so we talked about the bezel dial here, which is amazing, which is really, really good. But boy, this touchscreen, see how slick and smooth that is? That's nice. That's really, really nice. Where it's really smooth, really organic, very Apple-like. Man, I quite like it. So let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the exercise apps, which obviously I am most curious about. So we have running, walking, cycling, and swimming. I've heard that you go into the settings and actually set up other activity profiles. Let's check these out really quick first though. So running, set profile, sure, I'm a male. So this is kind of interesting. I just put in my date of birth in Samsung Gear S, but it didn't show up here. So I guess we'll just reset it up. Oh God, again, this dial is really nice. Very positive click. Once again, not my birthday, but go ahead and get me something if you'd like. I've gained a couple pounds. I'm gonna do miles, Fahrenheit. Yeah, wow, this is interesting. Oh, this is probably because there's a lot of MyFitnessPal integration with this, so you have milliliters and fluid ounces for your units of measure. So start running. So it is picking up a heart rate of 117 beats per minute, which I'm obviously not wearing it right now. That's the really nice thing about the Apple Watch, is that when you're not wearing it, it doesn't track your heart rate at all. Okay, location detected. So I really like the interface on this right here, where it seems a little bit more well thought out than the Vivo Active 3 start screen, where you have that just like that settings button underneath everything, where here you can actually set some different settings. Auto pause, guided intervals, interesting. So location, I'm guessing location means that you're not going to use GPS. So let's see what that, yep. So that just turned off GPS. So that should be treadmill running. The other question I have is that I've heard from another review that apparently they don't track distance for treadmill running, but again, that could be changed in settings. So From what I've heard, it basically seems like they turned everything off by default, and you have to essentially turn things on, and that really probably comes down to the claimed 4 days of battery life. So let's turn that on for a second. Actually, let's turn location off and then just start running and see how this screen looks at least. Countdown screen. Cool. So, oh my gosh. Once again, this screen is really nice on here. I mean, they use some really small fonts, but there's just a really quite a bit of contrast. Really everything pops. The clarity is, I mean, it kind of blows the Vivo Active 3 again out of the water. Cool, it's got an open music thing. It's auto pause because apparently I'm not moving. Very cool. Okay, so let's finish that. Okay, so let's go back. Walking, swimming, cycling, obviously I'm very curious about as well. What's kind of interesting is the location was already turned off, so I'm curious if that actually transferred over from the other one. Okay, let's turn the location on. We're gonna back out of there. We're gonna go back to running. Location detected. Turned it on already automatically, so turn the location off. Let's see what happens with cycling. Location's off. Yep. So basically it appears that once you turn the GPS off, for an activity, it remembers that setting for the next one. So it's not going to be like the Vivo Active 3 nor the Apple Watch where you have different profiles for indoor walking, running, cycling, etc., etc. Okay, so I am guessing that some settings are going to be within the app. So let's check that out really fast. Wow, with the About Gear app or the Gear Sport app here, looks like we have a lot of information. It's gonna have your battery percentage, storage, as well as RAM. That's a lot of info. That's actually pretty slick. So let's check out, so we have some watch faces right here. We have view apps as well, but let's go into settings because I've heard that there is some stuff to change in here. So just open up Samsung Health, agree to everything here. Will it use my other account? Oh, see, it doesn't. That's kind of a shame. Okay. So that's a big shame. So I mean, you know, I was just in the Gear Sport app, then it forwarded me to the Health app, then it asked me to log in again. So, you know, that could be better. So I'm curious if this is going to be very similar to the Apple Watch, where you have to use the Apple Watch app as well as the Activity app as well as the Health app to actually really use everything in your watch, where this one, so it has Samsung Health, and then it's all gonna have the Gear S. So at least it's only 2 apps, at least at this point, that you have to use. So it has all the info right here. View more watch faces, view more apps. So let's look at the settings. You have the notification settings, it's gonna be receive notifications, block, it's gonna auto show the details, notification indicator. And then for your apps, this is where you have auto update, the app's layout, very cool. Uninstall watch faces, individual app settings, I can use my current location. The Gear Music Manager, holy moly, that looks complicated. Whew. We'll try that out later. Find my gear, which I bet is just finding the watch, which is sweet. Transfer photos to the gear, which I have to see. Let's not allow that right now. Okay, so that was a pretty pleasant. Obviously, I'm a little bit confused by the setup on this and how you actually get some of those other activity profiles on the watch, but I'll definitely be doing just like I do with all my other reviews. So I'll be exploring the heck out of this thing as well as using the hell out of this thing. So look for the next installment of the Samsung Gear Sport review coming soon. Thanks for watching.